Okay, so tonight is a special night. It's a special celebration, a special night that happens on Tuesday. What we call it commercially is Halloween. Halloween is not the correct name for it. The correct name for it is Samhain. Samhain is the Irish name for one of the sabbats. So what is the sabbat? Sabbat is 8 points on the calendar that show the turning of the year. So, do we know what an equinox is? Right, equal day, equal night. Right, so we have 2 of those a year, 2 equinoxes, and then we have 2 solstices. Right, and we have a solstice means we have the longest day and the shortest night, which is usually midsummer, 22nd, 23rd of December, which is my birthday. And the shortest day and the longest night in Australia is usually 22nd, 23rd of June. However, right, what we call the summer solstice and the winter solstice, if you go to the northern hemisphere, that's opposite. You get that, so Christmas happens over there over the short period, with the short days and the long nights, that's why they're so cold. And the old Christmas celebrations were about giving gifts of food to one another to get you through that coldest time of the year, where the food was the scarcest. Right? So the celebrations that we have down south don't really reflect our, what we call our seasonal cycle calendar. Right? So when the European kings and churches were deciding our calendar, we got several iterations of our calendar. Right? And then they put the religious festivals on the calendar. And we still have, we function by what's called the Gregorian calendar today. Before that we had the Julian calendar where they realised they were losing days and the seasons were creeping around. So they just made these arbitrary days for these celebrations that didn't actually quite fit in with the sabbats. Now in between our solstices, right, so we have what's called the cross-quarter days. So if you can imagine our calendar is a circle, because we are going on a circle around our sun. So it's absolutely the best way to represent our calendar is not a timeline, but a circle. And we've just cut that big circle into quarters with the solstices and the equinoxes. What we get if we put another cross on that halfway between those. I was going to bring the big diagram to show you, but I left it on the bench with my tea. So if we put another cross the other way, imagine a pie divided into 8. Now, to the Irish, to the Scottish, to the Vikings, all these northern people, these are really important days because the seasons are so, further north you go, the more dramatic the seasons are. Right? And if you swing a pendulum out to the extreme, when it gets out to the extreme, it doesn't have much power, but it will start to go back the other way. So these cross-quarter days are the pendulum out of the extreme. Where that pendulum has the most force, most energy, it's in between that. So these cross-quarter days are the important celebrations on the old indigenous European calendars, or the old pagan calendars. And that was Samhain, Beltain, right? And then we have like Easter or Ostra, it used to be called, and Maudsland, right? So, and they were Ostra and Maudsland. Ostra was your spring festival of harvesting, and Maudsland was your milk for the ewes and things like that. So it was more to do with your harvesting your meat, more to do with harvesting your crops over here. But the other 2 were about life. And these are the 2 festivals, right, that represented life being generated, life coming into the world. So, of course, the springtime one is we're coming into our summer, right? So we're moving into our summer now, was really important for fertility, right? And in the old days, they would literally go out into the fields and make love on Beltain, right? And so the fields would be fertile, and day when everybody got married, or they would do a thing where they called jumping the fire, because the fire was the symbol of life coming into the world. So if that weather holds and we don't get much rain tonight, we might go out to jump the fire at Beltain outside, which is always good fun. We don't have to jump very high, it'll be safe. But the other day on that wheel of the year, obviously if you've got one about the beginning of life, making things fertile, getting the children, getting the wife pregnant so that the child has the best chance to live through the harshest time of the year and grow, was the Beltain. That's what it was about. So obviously if we've got one about the beginning of life, opposite that on the calendar, we've got the one about the end of life. And Samhain, or Halloween, as it's come to be known, or All Saints' Day to Catholic Church, is about death, right? And we have this reflected in many different calendars. The Day of the Dead in Mexico, Hungry Ghost Festival over in Asia, all around the same time on the circular calendar. And the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere are different. So this is the time where in the Northern Hemisphere, the veil between the worlds would be considered the thinnest, because it's not warm enough to be summer, it's not cold enough to be winter, it really hasn't decided when, but it's still in that, and we've had a really good example of that over the last couple of days, where you wake up and it's hot, and then it changes its mind, and it's freezing by the end of the day. My husband was awake panting. He had a 38-degree day in the morning, and by the end of the day it was 18. And that's the changeability of this time of year. Right? So what we find happening in the Northern Hemisphere is the grey days. There are days where it doesn't really decide to be one thing or the other, which goes with the idea that the veil between the world is the thinnest. And the myth was that the goddess of the underworld was allowed to come out because everybody was missing their relatives. So she would come to the surface world and bring the relatives with them. And if the relatives wanted to, they could go and find the people that they wanted to find. And they would have what's called the Jung Supper. So the traditional Halloween celebration wasn't trick-or-treating, pretending to be the ghosties and the goblins and things like that were supposed to be the entourage of the goddess of the underworld. So when they came out and they were let up, they became little old ghosts. They played tricks on people. And you pacify them, as you always do with fairies, with sweets. You're having problems with the fairies in your garden, a little thing honey out for them if they're mucking up and you've got a little bit of problems there for them. Pacifies the nature spirits. Oh, give me something really sweet. Thank you. Right? That way you don't do the tricks. So that was the idea of the trick or treat. Right? And of course, as it progressed in the Northern Hemisphere, it became a way for people to get their windows washed. So, trick or treat, and so they'd soap up the windows. It was the banging trick. Kids would soap up the windows. And then people had to hose their windows off the next day, so the windows were washed. It wasn't anything terribly nasty, although there have been some classic pranks played on people, and got cars put on roofs of houses and things like that. But the main celebration was the Jung Supper. So if you were really missing somebody, and you knew that this veil between the worlds was going to be the thinnest, you would have a meal, right? And you would lay a plate, you put their photo on the table, and you'd lay a meal out, just as if it was, for the whole family would get together. And you know what? I get Polynesian families come, Samoan families, and things like that, come to me for mediumship, and you get it right for one. All of a sudden you've got 16 people coming, all come at the same time. And so I tell them to go and have the Jung Supper. And they go, we do that. And I go, okay, well this is the best way to do this all at the same time, because you feel their presence there. And it's very much reflected in the Asian culture where they have the Hungry Ghost Festival. when they put food, they have these big festivals with food outside every shop in the streets for anybody that might feel lost and lonely on the other side. And the whole point, and anybody who is aware of spirit, I think we all believe in life after death, or we wouldn't be sitting in this room today. But the whole point of it is, if a person's going to be reincarnated and move on to the next level, whichever way they're going to go, they do that with joy. And if their family gives them love and joy, they can move to a happy place very quickly. They know that they're loved, that they know that they can feel the love. So feeding them, putting their photo out, and giving them a candle, very traditional, to light a candle to show them their way home. Usually the candle's placed on the table in front of the photo, and then at the end of the meal, with the plates cleared away, candles put in the window to burn down. Nobody really goes. We know where to set the house on fire. So, what I'd like to do for you today, we've already had some messages, is I just thought, we're not going to have a meal other than when we have a break later, we've got the nibblies over there. But I thought we can just do the lighting of the candles. I've brought a big lot of candles. So if there is somebody that you would like to contact, if you have a photo of them in your phone, fantastic. Alright? Because that can be like the photo that you put up on the table. And what we're going to do is light a candle in the way that we light the candles. We light a central candle, give you each a candle, and then you light your candle, and you light your candle. So, and it goes all the way around that way. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes just to find a photo. If you don't have a photo, just think very strongly of the image of the person and their name, but it works so much better. Now, when you blow the candle out tonight, because these are 4-hour candles, believe it or not, take it home with you and put it somewhere to burn out. So relight it when you get home, just let it burn out. Right? Just shows their way. It's on the other side, candles. If you ever look at the candle, if you ever do a meditation, you ever notice that like there's a rainbow around it? The flame of a candle seems to be one of those transdimensional things, like harmonics, and you've got that rainbow energy around it, which means it exists on more than one plane. So they feel that, they can see the light, they can feel the warmth. It really does show their way home from the other side. So. Light passes from hand to hand. Love passes from heart to heart. Light passes from hand to hand. Love passes from heart to heart. Light passes from hand to hand. Love passes from heart to heart. Light passes from hand to hand. Love passes from heart to heart. You can hold your candle, or if you feel more comfortable, you can put it down at your feet if you feel you're going to be wobbly while you do a meditation. So with your candle and your photo or image of your loved one, take a good longer look at your loved one and at the candle flame. Imagine them shining brightly while they were alive. Feel the radiance of their being. Know that that radiance has not disappeared. It has only changed state. If you want to commune with them now, very quietly but clearly, say their name 3 times. Now just for a moment, close your eyes and visualize that person. Visualize them in a happy moment. Remember their eyes, the bright light shining from their eyes as represented by the candle flame. How did their eyes look? What emotion did their eyes express? Take your awareness to your sense of smell. Smell brings them to you very strongly, very clearly. And often when they're around, they will send you a fragrance to remind you of them. What fragrances do you associate with? Perfume or cooking? How did they smell? Now take your awareness to how they felt. When you touched them, when you hugged them, when they kissed you, or when you kissed them. Remember that sensation. Feel that around you now. Take your awareness to your sense of hearing. Hearing is the hardest thing to do, but in your mind, remember how they sounded, what they said, the sound of their laughter, their happy things. Was there a particular sound that you associated with? Was there music around them? Or the tinkling of their bracelets and necklaces, the sound of their shoes? You take your awareness to speech. This is often the most important, the one that brings closure. What is it that you would like to say to them? Formulate in your mind what you would like to say to them. You have called them. When you call spirit in, they come. So, knowing that they are here, very quietly, but clearly, say to them anything that you need to say that will give you closure with them. There is no right, there is no wrong with spirit. If it gives you closure, it's okay. Now take your awareness again to that sense of speech, but listen to them. They are going to want to communicate with you. That is why they are here. Let that bright shining light that you have there bring their words to you. Listen with your heart, not your ears. You will hear their words in your heart. As a knowing, as an emotion, as a sensation, and sometimes as words. Look deeply into their eyes. What do they need to say to you to bring closure? And though our time with our loved ones today is brief, know that by using this process, if you need to see them again for more closure, you can do so. When you call them in, they will come. But when it is time and you have your closure, you must let them go so that they can move on to the next incarnation. And if you do that, you'll get to hold them again in this life. They will come back to you within your psychic field. So for now, bless them. Tell them you love them. And tell them you will speak with them again when the time is right. When you're ready, don't blow out your candle. What I'm going to get you to do is lift your fingers and snuff the candle. You blow it, you blow away the energy. It's surprising how many traditions that do have this. Okay, just lick your fingers, get lots of spit on them. And then just. So just pop that down, it'll take a couple of minutes for the wax to set, so just put that somewhere safe. And you're welcome to take that home. It's been charged up with a lot of energy tonight. And like I said, that flame is a real trans-dimensional thing, and that wax is going to carry the energy of tonight. So the next time you want to speak to your relatives or loved ones on the other side, light that candle, repeat that process. So, I just want to hear from you. Yes, David.
Close your eyes.
I'm all right. So, has anybody got any questions or feedback from what they just experienced? Did you feel them? Did you? It's surprisingly simple to get that tactile feel that they're right there. You look like you were having a pretty big experience there.
It was okay. I know what you're doing.
Good. Are you all right, madam? Okay. Do you need some more tissues? Yeah. Alright, so they obviously came in pretty strongly for you. That's good. Fantastic. Yeah. There's some nice smiles that you had.
I felt like someone tapped on my shoulder.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Sort of jump on somewhere. Alright, so anybody want to share or anybody got any questions? Because I don't want you running out of there screaming going, oh my god! So, is that all good?
I knew that, but without a candle. I understand. There's the candle reinforcing.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, it's just that transdimensional thing that just takes you through into their realm. They can see it and feel it, and you can too. So it leads you really easily. Okay, so do you want to say anything before we go out and jump over some fire? No.
Yeah, I thought I left it inside.
Yes. Alright, so we'll just take a little step out so we've got room to do what we need to do. And so we're just going to one at a time. Alright.
Okay. Who's brave? Who's going to do it next?
You, go on. I like how it leaps up as people go over.
Next, go. I was going to say, you need to be careful.
That's all right.
No.
I was going with that dress, I would.
No, not with the dress.
No.
Good, but that was good.
And dive forward.
And then,
Oh, Sarah.
That's cheating.
Just while the flame was burning and like taking everything through, taking our prayers up to heaven and smoke everything. Just very quickly, we won't stand it too long because Sarah's cold.
we warm up.
But just think about things that you'd like to create during the next 6 months. That this 6 months doesn't have to be baby.
Oh, God.
Not again. So, but we can bring other things into the world. Well, we create things. Just think very clearly what it is that you would like to create. You could do anything in the world. Would you do it? flame's a really good open-eyed invitation as well. So with what you've just asked to do, just take some time to look into the fire. See if you can see images. Just like you do with eyes. So see if you can see any images that confirm what you asked for. You'll be surprised what you see as you stare into the fire.
There was energy in that. There was some sort of energy going on. It was moving around.
So nobody touched anything.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.